I grew up in Houston, Texas. I didn't have any other family in town besides my parents and my two younger siblings. My mother's from Pennsylvania, although she was military, so she was born in France and lived at various military bases all over the world before they settled in Pennsylvania. And then my father's from South America. My father's from Colombia, and then he's from an Italian family. When people first meet me, they ask, well, where are you from? Oftentimes it's trying to figure out my name because it's obviously not a conventional name here in the United States. My name's Italian. I come from part American, part Italian Colombian family, and in that sense, I feel like I can find family in many different parts of the world. Yeah, on my father's side, deep roots with the church, and his uncle, so my great uncle, is a bishop. He's the retired bishop of a town called Santa Marta in Colombia. And then my mother's side as well. My mother came from a Catholic family, and my grandfather was a convert to the faith. So my parents met at the Catholic Center while they were going to graduate school in Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up going to church quite frequently, and beyond what my parents would do as a family, I was an altar server in grade school. When I was a Boy Scout, I did the Catholic medal when I was in middle school, and then when I was in high school, I went to a Jesuit high school, so I had the chance to participate in a lot of retreats and other activities. So the church was always very close to me growing up. I studied mechanical engineering. Truth be told, I had been thinking about priesthood even as far back as then, so I studied a program called Plan 2 Honors. That's a liberal arts degree. It's an interdisciplinary liberal arts degree. It was founded at UT. It only exists there. So I was able to balance engineering with just classical liberal arts studies. I came to find that I liked engineering a whole lot more. I didn't much care for essays and reading and writing, so the thought of seminary after that wasn't too exciting. But I'm very grateful for both experiences, and I think that it's very important to balance the sciences with the humanities. So at the University Catholic Center, there's this Catholic men's fraternity. It was founded at the University of Texas at Austin. And that was a very important part of my life for my 4.5 years while I was in Austin. That gave me the chance to just walk with people from all over on various stages of their spiritual journey. I obviously had a somewhat unique experience coming from a Catholic high school and being so involved early on, but it was wonderful to just watch people grow in the faith. It was wonderful to have friends to share our challenges with, because college is quite a challenging time and a lot of stress. So that was a very important part of my college experience. I knew that UT had a great campus ministry. That's what several of my friends had told me. But back then, even when I was considering priesthood, I was thinking diocesan was going to be the way that it would end up. But that being said, once I got to know the Paulists, I really appreciated the way they were accessible. So for example, they would have daily mass, usually noon or 12:30, depending on the day of the week. And the priest would say, I'm going to the food court next door to have lunch, and people would just join him for lunch, and there was that sense of being able to dialogue informally, and that really opened my horizons, opened my eyes on a lot of theological issues, a lot of social issues. And then on top of that, being able to go to the Paulist for dinner on a few occasions. And over time, my friendship with the Paulist priest there grew. After I had graduated, I really missed the sense of community I had with my friends, but also the sense of accessibility that I had with the Paulist priests. I would even take vacations where I'd go to stay at the Paulist house in New York City. New York would be a great place to go on vacation, obviously, but it was even better to have what I considered friends to share that time with. So I worked for a little over 3 years as an engineer at ExxonMobil. Loved the experience. I had the chance to go to Africa. I had the chance to go to Norway several times. Right about my third year, I was working on a project, and they were reaching a phase where they were going to have some engineers living overseas, living in Norway. I was at a point in the project where I would have had the opportunity to go live overseas. And that's when I kind of realized that as much as I love the job, for me, where I found my deepest meaning, my deepest joy is in the church. It's in finding Christ in the assembly, seeing Christ in other people, accompanying other people. Since I had felt that call, that's kind of when I realized that this is the time to go explore that call further. Leaving my job wasn't like a once and for all. seminary is meant to be a time of discernment. So I had a lot of support from the people that I worked with. In a sense, that was very freeing because I knew that I could make that decision freely, that I wanted to be a Paulist, and after my novice year that I wanted to make the first promise and that I wanted to continue in my formation journey. I've been extremely blessed with that time working, with the experiences I've had, but even more so with the support I got from my coworkers, and I still stay in touch with them, and I still visit them every time I'm back in town. Just the way the Paulists view the entirety of the United States as their mission territory, the way that we have ministries, parishes, campus ministries, and whatnot. So that sense of belonging to all of the United States, I find very attractive. The opportunity to experience so much of the United States as well. I'm not tied to as particular of a geography as I would be if I were a diocesan priest, for example. I've lived in, I think it's 6 different cities during the past few years in formation. I've gotten to live in California, I've gotten to live in Boston, I spent a year in Grand Rapids in the Midwest. That's one of the highlights, is just being able to live in various parts of the US. And I think what that has helped show me was Catholicism has a certain different context and flavor because the history is very different in different communities. The questions people ask are often somewhat different because people come from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different cultures. And that's one of the gifts or the contributions of the Paulists, because we see our ministry being to all over the US, we can sort of cross-pollinate. So one of the perks of being a Paulist is that I can bring ideas that I've learned from different communities, different ways of thinking, different approaches to ministry. And then beyond that, at this point, I just hope to be a normal priest. And there was this saying that Paulists are priests plus. So the fact that we live in community means that we can do the tasks of a normal parish, but by dividing the tasks between 2 or 3 other priests, Paulists are able to make special contributions to the diocese, even if it's just pinch hitting and substituting at other masses, having that opportunity to experience more of the region than just the local parish. And also working on special projects, special evangelization projects. One of my particular interests is the environment. So I hope to use some of the time that I have as a Paulist to do more study, first of all, and then secondly, think about how I can be a better advocate for sustainability. And I know that there's a lot of terrific programs that are out there already with the Catholic Church. I think it's just a question of time. And I think as a Paulist, I'll be able to balance my obligations to the particular community with that broader sense of mission and that vision to try to shape and influence the conversation beyond that.